For instance, Paul Bogle who owned over 500 acres of land in a place called St. Thomas, a village where we call him Stoneygut, right? And people claim that the people who were there with him were enslaved people, but they weren't enslaved people. He was building a community, you know what I mean? And that was a threat to the establishment. At the time, there was this governor here who they call him Governor Here, E-Y-R-E. So Governor Here was here and was very oppressive. And though George William Gordon was standing up and trying to see how much, you know, we can have a better standard of living for the people, they weren't up to it. They even wrote a letter to the Queen of England at the time. And the reply that she gave is that they must go and work a little harder. You know what I mean? And that they were indolent and lazy and all of these things. So a lot of the people couldn't even believe that the Queen of England, which I believe was Queen Victoria at the time, you know, who replied in that manner. You know, so Paul Bogle and a group of people decide that, you know, we need to go and visit the governor at Spanish Town. At the time, the center of government was at Spanish Town. So Paul Bogle walked 65 miles from St. Thomas to Spanish Town and back to deliver a letter. Well, the governor never even come out to listen to him. Right? Then, so on the 7th of October, 1865, let us go there now. On the 7th of October, 1865, there was something took place that Paul Bogle ended up have to go down to Morant there to solve some problem with somebody who they arrested and charged for working on a piece of property. So because Paul Bogle recognized what was happening and they went down there, some of the people went into the police station and freed the man.
Okay.
So when them freed that individual and took him back to Stoneygut, a militia and police force, at the time it was a militia, went up there for Paul Bogle. And when they went up there, the people in Stoneygut arrested the police. You understand? And they plead, and Paul Bogle allowed them to release them back.
Oh, wow.
And then there was another court case now, which I believe it was the 11th of October, the same 1865. And Paul Bogle with his brother Moses Bogle arranged that they would go down to Morant there. The history book funny, you know, but when you look deep into what took place, you realize that they got fed up now and decided that they need to put them shoulder to the wheel because things are not getting any better. And by the hook or the crook, something have to happen. So they marched down to Morant there, right? One set come from a next side called Wilmington, and the next set come down the side we are calling him Spring Garden and come down into Morant there. And when they came to Morant there was this Custos Van Kettelholt.
All right, yeah, Van Kettelholt, yeah.
You read about him.
Yeah.
So he was one of the person who was like putting up certain resistance, and they had somebody in the courthouse and they charged this individual. I am trying to remember exactly what they charged him for. And they entered the courthouse and took out that man from the courthouse.
Oh, was it? Didn't he like interrupt the? He interrupted the case that was taking place in the court.
There was a case taking place for that individual. So somebody went into the courthouse, right? and demand the freedom of the individual that they charge, right?
All right.
And what took place? The guards or the police at the courthouse fired on the crowd because there was a crowd of people outside standing, decided that they want the freedom of this individual, right? But you see, as I say, it's not everything that is written in the history book goes. There's a book named The Killing Time by Gad Human. I don't know if you can find that book.
I'll look it up.
Yeah. Within that book, it shows how the rebellion really started. There's this lady named Letitia Gohegan. When she realized what was happening, she decided that she was the first person who threw the first stone in the courthouse.
Oh.
So it never really start by man. It's a lady named Letitia Gohegan. And there is where everything break loose, right? So maybe Van Kettlewolf was killed.
Right.
Yeah. And maybe about 100 white people. But it was literally a massacre, slaughter, because they murdered over 434 of Paul Bogle's followers. And they dug a mass grave behind the courthouse and put both living and dead people in it because some people never dead.
Damn, that's dark.
Yeah, man, behind the Morant courthouse. You know, we had several ceremonies around there just to honor those ancestors that buried in that mass grave behind the Morant courthouse, right? And after the 11th of October, I just realized that we are in the month of October, not the uprising too. You know?
And tomorrow, it marks the wow, over 150 years since it began, because you said October 7th.
Yeah, maybe it's nearly 160 years now. You know, yeah, it was over 150 years. You know, we celebrate maybe about 1865. 1865. It is about nearly 160 years now.
That's amazing.
So what took place is that after that uprising, Paul Bogle and a lot of the brothers them escaped, and Paul Bogle was hiding out for maybe about 2 weeks. You know, so it wasn't like a long after that they caught up with Paul Bogle. And they sent for a militiaman and they burnt over 1,000 houses, you know, and imprisoned and murdered a lot of people, right? Because, and what they did, it was not just the ordinary people, because the history don't show that there was a lot of intellectuals within that community, bright people, you know. They would call them people who can't have them own little business, because people were lifting themselves out of that economic system of oppression. Because what took place, you know, them recognized that this thing was about economics. All of it was about economics. And when them realized that the free labor now is putting a dent on their economics power base and they are not making that profit, they wanted to re-enslave the people in, because these people become independent now and start to make a living for themselves. Small farmers and traders and all of these things were happening. And this is why the pressure now come on the people. And it was not just the local politics. And one of the things that I must always look on is the geopolitics, how the geopolitics impact the local politics. Because when the Morant uprising was going on, the Civil War was taking place in America in the same time, right? So trade with goods and all of those things were putting extreme amount of pressure on our local economy. You understand? So within all of that, it was an uphill task for the people who just free themselves, because this is what we must look on. Slavery, the freedom wasn't about the British giving us freedom. It was a constant struggle. That's why I took you from that time up till 1865. It was a constant struggle for the people to have a level of liberation.